of reaction online to that press conference. James Creedon is here with that for today's Media Watch. Good to see you, James.
Hi, Laura.
Tell us a bit more about how people are interpreting that press conference then.
Well, first of all, the sort of the fact that there was a kind of a show-like quality to this press conference has been getting lots of comment and
That's such a build-up, hasn't it?
Well, it was over 2 hours between a plea, a defence plea and a psychoanalysis session. That's how one headline in the French press summed it up, calling it a show, the Carlos Ghosn show. And they weren't the only ones to think that. The Carlos show was one Lebanese Twitter user's commentary on it. Another commentary from Japan this time. Ghosn is gone, but the show must go on. Oh. Sort of like an haiku, or kind of an adapted haiku. But anyway, lots of the quotes were very dramatic. It had certainly a very dramatic quality to it. Why Japan is paying me with evil for the good I've done to the country. So this sort of stuff.
Basically said it was a big stitch up, and all disgruntled executives at Nissan are trying to. They wanted to oust him,
which
is not what the Japanese authorities have said.
Right. And indeed, there was even an entr'acte, or an intermission, which he called in the middle of the 2 hours.
Oh, there was, yeah.
So again, popcorn emojis, people
Put
started finding. That's right. It did have that quality to it. Now, there was one country that didn't broadcast the live press conference quite so much as others, and that was Japanese television. The national broadcaster NHK didn't take it live. One channel did, that Twitter user not mentioning which one, but as L'Orient Le Jour, well, it's not coming up right there, but L'Orient Le Jour has there it is. They pointed out, amongst other media, that the Minister of Justice in Japan found the comments utterly unacceptable. They said it was completely one-sided, which I suppose, it being a press conference, is what you would expect. And also worth pointing out that NHK carried that press conference live.
Did you hear what he said about Pearl Harbor?
I did, yes.
That was
quite the punchline, according to one Twitter user.
Well, yes. He was asked by an American journalist, "Did you not see your arrest coming?" And he responded, "Did you not see Pearl Harbor coming?" So
dramatic language all round, dramatic and provocative language all round, for sure. Now, the fact that it was held in 3 languages, even 4, showing off his multilingual qualities.
He was born in Brazil.
Born in Brazil, of a Lebanese mother, had some of his education in Lebanon.
And France.
And in France. And then, of course, he picked up English along the way.
And has Lebanese citizenship, of course.
That's right. Picked up English along the way, and a smattering of Japanese, from what I understand. Now, because it was a trilingual or quadrilingual press conference, this Twitter user pointing out that the Anglo media were more focused on him slashing Japan, as they colourfully said here. The Lebanese media, or at least one, L'Orient Le Jour, was headlining with every possible quote that was elogious or in love with Lebanon.
What did he say? I didn't hear that. What did he say about?
There were many. I don't have the headlines, but just to show you, regardless of your position towards him, the press conference given by Carlos Ghosn today should be taught in law schools. So that's one Japanese, rather Lebanese economist who thought that he's an excellent strategist, excellent speaker, no matter what you might think of him. What else? What other comments were there? This man will always be an example to look up to in the business world. Right. I truly believe he's a victim of Japanese conspiracies. These were mostly comments coming out of Lebanon. A Lebanese legend, said another. Now, some in France didn't agree. This particular commentator here is saying that the press conference demonstrated that justice must be done in the courts and not through the media. That he's a skillful speaker who seems easily convincing and quickly causes empathy, but the complexity of such a file cannot be dealt with in 30 minutes or in a few different
usually
tweets.
It's the defendant complaining about trial by media, but this time he's using the media to his advantage.
That's it. And it's just, as was the criticism of the Justice Minister in Japan, this was a one-sided affair. But of course, what Carlos Ghosn was saying is that the Japanese justice system is sort of stacked against the defendant, with over 99% of cases showing a conviction. Now, a comment from Japan. Ghosn is a criminal, Japanese enemy. He's a megalomaniac and a liar. I hope everyone in the world won't be duped. And don't forget that the Japanese don't forget their conscience. So it is interesting to point out that, I suppose, comments varied quite a bit given the culture of the media and the language and whatnot. But certainly a massive degree of intrigue.
Yes,
today.
Absolutely. And he has also said he would be willing to travel to France, possibly, where he's also wanted.
That's right. And he will be before the Lebanese courts on Thursday, but I think we're expecting them to be somewhat more clement than the Japanese
We will be keeping a close eye on that. There's a lot of cartoons, because everybody wants to know how he managed to get out of Japan.
That's right.
That he's not spilling the beans because he says he doesn't want to get anyone in trouble. But that was quite an audacious escape.
That's right. And you had journalists
Involving
such
a bullet
as...
train, I think.
Indeed. Well, first of all,
violin.
he is thought to have escaped the apartment building where he was under house arrest using some sort of a surgical mask and a hat. So that was one element of the escape that has been reported. Sorry, that's kind of off topic, but it is a cartoon showing that some of the more sensitive aspects of the case are being protected or concealed, perhaps. But this was the Wall Street Journal, which obtained a photo of the audio equipment case.
He's got in this case?
That's what's being alleged. And as a result of that, you've had various people riffing off that, imagining oversized suitcases or whatnot, seeing him escape in rather colourful manner. And we'll finish, I guess, with this particular cartoon by the cartoonist Na, imagining a reinforced case delivering the press conference, and there's a bit of wordplay there. In French, les caisses noires, the black boxes. I suppose the closest equivalent would be brown envelopes. In other words, shady dealings. The shady dealings are not my thing.
Right.
Shady dealings are not my thing.
Oh, okay. Somebody will be making a big film about this in a few years, I think.
Definitely. It has all of the elements of a Netflix blockbuster or blockbuster of some kind.
Very exciting story. All right, James, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks,
James,
Laura.
for being there.